Hi, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Lexi, and I studied abroad with AIFS back in fall of 2022 at Maynooth University in Maynooth, Ireland. And today I am joined with Oscar. Oscar, why don't you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself and your program?
I'm Oscar 𝗟𝗧𝗦. I'm a student at Wabash College, and I studied abroad in Austria this past summer, 2024.
Awesome. Yeah, so what was the moment, kind of thinking back, like before you went, where you decided that you were going to study abroad? And how did that moment of like knowing that this is what you were going to do, how did that kind of feel to you?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when I decided that I wanted to study abroad, but I had been in talks with my college's study abroad advisor for quite a while. So,
Yeah, it's nice to have like
yeah.
like outlets like that at like schools and stuff that you can talk to and like get more information. When you were abroad, was there a kind of like favorite course or activity that you did while you were there?
I actually decided to study abroad because I saw there was a music class available in Austria. I guess I should establish that I am a music major, so that seemed very intriguing to me.
Yeah,
And
awesome. What kind of music class was it exactly? Like what did you do?
Yeah, it was mostly music history. We went a bit into specifically the music of Austria around the time during which Mozart was alive. And I actually studied in the birthplace of Mozart, which was Salzburg. So it's a very unique experience that I don't think I'd be able to come close to replicating anywhere else.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, that is a very unique experience that you definitely wouldn't get anywhere else. And there's nothing like learning about the history while you're actually in the place where all the history happened. That's a great experience. And definitely I can see that that would be an incentive to study abroad there for that course. Did you notice when you were abroad, was there any kind of focus on fighting climate change or kind of just like being more green, anything like that while you were there?
Yeah, I definitely noticed Austria seemed to be a lot more environmentally conscious than what I was used to in the US. Like I don't think I saw a single like plastic bag over there. And those are very common here, despite the fact that they're like pretty polluting. So I was definitely glad to see that the country has already taken quite a few steps to combat climate change. I think it would be good if like us in the US could implement some of these things that I saw over there.
Yeah, definitely. I know that certain states are starting to ban the plastic bags, which is good that we're finally starting to like catch up. I feel like with the rest of the world with stuff like that. But yeah, I think slowly but surely we're trying to be a little more green, but you don't really notice how kind of far behind we are until you go outside of the country and really see what other countries are doing. How did you feel being abroad? Was there any kind of like culture shock when you first got there? And how did you kind of adapt to living in this new place?
It was quite different from the US upon me arriving there. Yeah, it was a pretty big change, but I think I adapted pretty quickly. I didn't have any major struggles over there. I always felt safe there. I always felt accepted. I enjoyed my time over there.
That's great. Yeah, I kind of noticed the same thing when I went abroad at first. I didn't really feel like there was much of a culture shock for me going there. I honestly felt like more of a shock when I came back, like after I had adjusted to living there. Once you come back, you're like, oh, I'm just like nothing's kind of changed, but also like I've changed. So it's definitely more of a unique experience, I think, once you come back after being away. Yeah. So did you notice that there was any major language barriers with you? How did you adapt when you were there and like learn in these new environments?
Yeah, when I first got there, like I knew minimal German. I barely spoke any. So that was probably the biggest challenge early on. It's trying to adapt to not being able to speak the language of the country. But luckily, I was taking a German class while I was there. I think by the end, I was able to at least order food and understand enough of the language that I could get by.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I definitely know because well, when I chose where I was studying abroad, I knew that I want to go somewhere that did speak English first because I'm very bad at learning other languages. I've tried a lot, but it's just something that I just am not very skilled at. So, but I even noticed that I face kind of barriers just with like the different like slang terms that are used over there that I had to adapt to. So I can't even imagine having to go someplace and learn a whole new language. But that's good that towards the end you felt like you were getting more comfortable with it. And now you kind of have that skill that you can take with you, which is great.
Yeah. I guess with that, that makes three languages that I speak to some
Wow.
extent.
What are the three that you speak now, if you count? You said
Yeah.
German,
Yep.
English.
Yep. English, obviously. Also speak Spanish. So
Nice.
now I speak a bit of German as well. So
That's
I
great.
think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I wish I could. So that's very great and awesome that you're able to do that. Thinking back to before you went abroad, how did you kind of prepare and pack for your trip? And was there anything that you wish you had brought that you hadn't? And anything that you did bring that you were like, oh, I really didn't end up needing this with me?
I think my priority with packing was to pack as conservatively as possible.
Mhm.
Like I packed only what I need. Even then, I don't think I left anything that I needed back home. But that did mean I got to bring a few souvenirs back. I do appreciate having something to look back on.
Yeah, definitely. I always like to say to people who are studying abroad is always when you're going, know that you're going to want to bring stuff back and like you're going to want to go and like get stuff to remember the trip by. So try to leave space and remember that when you're going, so you can prepare for the future for when you come back. Sweet. Well, I have one more question for you, Oscar. What is a piece of advice you would give anybody thinking about studying abroad?
I think the biggest thing would be to start thinking about it as early as possible. Like
Hmm.
I think I started speaking with my advisor maybe around January, February of
Hmm.
this past semester, and I'm glad I did because the process can be a bit complicated, especially when it comes to getting financial aid, which was something that I very much needed in my case.
Yeah, I totally agree. Definitely planning and thinking about it a good amount of time beforehand is definitely helpful because, like you said, there's a lot that kind of goes into it, and there's a lot of deadlines and a lot of applications that you'll have to go through. So, giving yourself enough time to like not be caught up by anything and not be too stressed out, I think it's just always more beneficial to give yourself the extra time to plan through everything and just know when the deadlines are and fill out the applications and just not stress yourself out about it because it shouldn't be a stressful process if you can make it not be.
Yep.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Oscar, for all of your advice and your insight. It was great getting to talk with you today. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and come back next time. Thank you.